23 in the 20. He went for it, almost lost control, hits the wall, drives off the wall, sort of Ross Chastain-esque.
5 back 11, then 10 to the 24. 24 and 20 are separated by a point right now.
You know the deal? Christopher Bell will not be going to Phoenix.
For everyone that said that this system was like the spin gate proof system, here you go. I think this is even worse.
Why is he here? No, seriously, how the hell did he make it this far?
And I don't know how many times it's going to get it through NASCAR's thick skull that this playoff format can and will never work in racing.
If it was 20 years ago, hell, if it was 10 years ago, he'd be done.
We are right here, right now, on Championship Day. Phoenix Raceway is ready to explode into life. Joey Logano steps into history. He's a 3-time Cup Series champion.
Like, we want this sport to be treated like a, seriously. And it's just like you're just grabbing our necks and you're like, no, this is what we're gonna do. It's like, well, where's the compromise?
They're all like, the playoffs are great, everything's fine with everything. The state of NASCAR is more like the state of despair.
With any motorsport series, starts from the beginning and works its way all the way to the end. Like Monster Jam, it begins in January and ends right around May or June or July or whenever they have the World Finals. And all in all, the points are fair. Except for some of the World Finals invitations. It's also kind of the same thing with dirt track racing. Starts in the first race and ends at the last, and if you're consistent enough, you get the win. NASCAR was once like this, from race number 1 to around 30 something. Again, I forgot, I lost track. But then in 2004, they introduced Chase for the Cup, and then somewhere around the 2010s, we get the normal playoff format that we know today. And there's been slight controversies. Well, most notably this year. From the way how teams performed to the outcome at the end, this year especially has been very controversial, and it's turning off some fans as a result. And what on earth happened? Pretty much to sum it up, Joey Logano won the NASCAR championship. Meanwhile, his performance this year was really not championship worthy. Some might make the argument that he beat the system, but in terms of a legitimate championship reign, it's one of the lowest that's ever been recorded. One of those rules that kind of helped Joey Logano was the win and you're in system. This really broke the playoffs. Because then we have Harrison Burton, who is nowhere near close to top 10 or anywhere, and yet he won at Daytona, and the only thing that they were able to talk about was the playoffs and not exactly, his first career win. Wins should be cherished, really, no matter where you go. And especially a racing series like NASCAR, it should be cherished. Because who knows? This might be your only time you'll be in victory lane. Not only that, but also the commentators should also emphasize more on the wins, because they're more important. And even if somebody that's not in the playoffs win, instead of them really showcasing that he won, they just say over and over again that he's not even in the playoffs. The whole playoff format, either way, doesn't work with NASCAR, or really any racing series. Take a look at the NBA or NFL, and yeah, I know a lot of people have brought this up, but I'm going to have to bring it up anyway. Usually with there being playoffs, it makes sense because it's only one team versus another team. Only 2 teams at a time, each time that they're doing a playoff round. Meanwhile for NASCAR, it's 36 cars. So there's drivers that are not in the playoffs that can mess up the whole thing for the others. Then you also have the way that they race. NASCAR says that it adds more excitement. Now some of the races have gotten more exciting, but the legitimacy at hand is not. In this case, like with Joey Logano, he was very low in points, yet he still managed to get into the playoffs and managed to win his way in and luck out. And then guys like Kyle Larson, who performed significantly better, was completely left out of the Final Four. And to go back to NASCAR, where they said it adds more excitement, here's one thing that I have to say in response. Let it happen naturally. Obviously, some seasons are going to be duds, meanwhile other seasons are going to be great. That's why normal points formats works, and especially with a big, large field, it benefits. It also feels more rewarding to be really consistent throughout the entirety of the season, and then you get the championship. That's why some fans love following Monster Jam's points format. Or the same thing can be said about dirt tracks. They follow season-long formats, and sometimes it could get very competitive and neck and neck. And the same thing happened to NASCAR on a few occasions. Most notably in 1992, where Alan Kulwicki won the championship against Davey Allison, Bill Elliott, and several other drivers that were all in contention for the championship in one whole race at Atlanta. And now, by the looks of it, we're never going to get that again. Obviously, that was like once in a lifetime or once in a while. But still, even just regular points competitions that could go to at least 2 or 3 drivers, we're not really going to get that no more. The last few years have now seen some questionable champions, and now Joey Logano made it the lowest. And that's also kind of why I haven't been really following NASCAR so consistently in their points. It really is kind of a waste of time, honestly. You can have somebody do really, really good, yet they'll fumble in the playoff format, and then within 1 or 2 rounds, they're already gone and they can't even win a championship that they deserve a shot at. And it's not just me who thinks that. Within these last few weeks, so many fans have been saying to take off the playoffs. With the situation that happened at Martinsville where it got very controversial, to the championship outcome with Joey Logano winning, fans are more outspoken than ever before, and some fans are even leaving. And unfortunately, it looks like NASCAR is not buying it. They're not budging, and they're not going to be doing anything about it. And by the looks of it, if they stick with this is going to hurt them each and every year. And if you take my advice, it's better to fix it now than to fix it later. Obviously, the damage has already been done, but if they were to fix this whole thing in some way or some form, then it could work. But everybody's just so outspoken about it, it's best to just remove the playoffs altogether. Just wanted to talk about this, and I want to ask everybody, what would you do if you were in NASCAR's shoes? Would you remove the playoffs or not? Hopefully they do, in my opinion, but if they don't, then it's going to be pretty bad for the next few years to come. I'm Thomas Frasco. Take care.